the magic you are looking for is in the work that you are avoiding. This is one of those quotes that is such a throwaway line, and yet speaks so deeply and so truthfully to where most people fall down, where the gap is for most people in the results they are looking for. The results are in the work you're avoiding. Everything you want is usually on the other side of that work that you know needs to get done, that should be done, that must get done, and you aren't doing. All those things that you list off and you're like, oh, everything would get better if I did this. You know, if we're going to talk about just health and fitness, we're going to talk about exercise, we're going to talk about body shape, those kinds of things. It's the workouts, it's the nutrition, it's the consistency of it. And end all, for those people who are already starting that, it's in the effort that you give. You know, it comes back to that one, that, yeah, if you're in the gym and you're doing something, you're already so much further ahead than the people who are avoiding the gym completely, who aren't exercising, who are still sitting on the couch. You are 1,000 miles ahead of those people. But if you're looking around and going, why is that person getting results and I'm not? More often than not, it isn't lack of knowledge or experience or the perfect program. It is effort. It is effort and the attention that you are giving for that exercise, for that workout, for that program. You know, it's the attention that we give, or, you know, bouncing around within that program. You know, I see a lot of people who are doing okay, but their attention's all over the place. They're like, oh, that's a shiny new object. Oh, that's something exciting. Oh, let's try that instead. Oh, you know, I'll try doing, you know, CrossFit this week. Oh, that didn't work. Let's try HIIT training, or let's try hypertrophy, or let's try powerlifting, or whatever the next thing is. You know, it takes consistency. It takes repeating the basics over and over and over again. It's like they're saying, you know, a focused fool will achieve more than a distracted genius. It's about getting in and just doing the same thing over and over and over again with extreme effort and consistency. And that's often the work that's being avoided more than anything, is just not giving effort and not being consistent enough when it comes to health and fitness. That you think that that little dip out will be okay. You think that, you know, oh, if I just kind of, you know, miss one workout or miss one meal or whatever it might be, it's not that big a deal. And to be honest, it's not. In the overarching principle of life, it really isn't that big a deal. But the problem is that it's usually not just one. It's not just one meal. It's not just one workout. It usually becomes a pattern of skipping. It usually becomes a habitual thing, you know. The tree falls the way it leans. If you're more inclined to skip workouts than you are to be consistent, that's going to show a lot of where you're at. So it's in the work that you don't want to do that the results lie. That's where the magic lies. It's in the work that you're avoiding. And I often find this to be the case, that most people, on the most basic level, know what to do. You know, yeah, we can always dial things in. We can always make things more perfect. But usually the biggest gap is just starting, is just beginning the process. And if you just start and give fucking effort, a lot of the magic will appear. And you'll build momentum and you'll build consistency. And it'll just snowball from there. And look, once you've built the consistency, once you've built a track record of showing up, then we can think about dialing it in. Then we can think about, you know, how can we tweak this process to really see even better results. But most of the time, the big bang for your buck results are going to come from just starting and giving fucking effort. And I can't reiterate that enough. Like, just beginning and giving it everything you have. That'll deliver a shit ton of results. You know, for a lot of people, if you're on the couch at the moment and you're not really doing much, strapping 10% of your body weight and going for a 45-minute walk every single day will deliver dramatic, ridiculous results. Like, beyond what you think should be plausible for something so simple. Just give that effort. And I'm not talking like a casual stroll. I'm talking about like walking with purpose, going as fast as your legs will carry you. And over time it'll build up, but you have to also be consistent with it. And this is one, when we talk about consistency, we talk about giving hands and daylight, you know, that a lot of people disagree with me on. But I actually think it is easier to train every single day than it is to take days off. Because taking the days off breaks the momentum, breaks the habit, it breaks the consistency. It ruins that momentum that you've had. That's why in my programs there are no days off. It's every single fucking day, because I think that's actually easier to follow through. There's no thought process. A lot of the time, the slip-ups, the step-backs, the mistakes, the, you know, quitting, giving up, happen because there is inconsistency in the process. You know, it's like if you're trying to build a habit and Monday to Friday you're on point and you fucking nail it, especially nutrition. I see this all the time in the nutrition side of things. Monday to Friday you nail it. Then Saturday you go out Friday night, and then Saturday you go out, and then Sunday you're hungover as shit, and all of it goes to shit, or you have a cheat day or whatever it might be. Then you spend Monday and Tuesday back in that grind stage. Wednesday gets a little bit easier. Thursday you're starting to feel really good. Friday you're like, okay, we've got some momentum built. And then you go and blow it again. And you just go in this forever repeat cycle, and then wonder why you quit and give up, because you're always starting back at the beginning on Monday. You're always rebuilding the momentum on Monday. So don't have those breaks. Look, if you are new to the game, you don't work out at the same intensity that I do every single day, but you just make sure you do the workouts every single day, especially the weighted walks. You can do that every fucking day, no matter what. And, you know, I've had this discussion before, and I'll probably continue to have it. People are like, oh, what about burnout? What about, you know, pushing your body to the max? What if it, you know, cripples you? And I'm like, most people have never pushed themselves even remotely hard, period, full stop, let alone pushing themselves beyond that point that they end up burning out. So just calm down. Let's start with getting in and pushing to that point and seeing where you end up before we start going, oh my God, I'm going to burn out if I work out every single day. Because, yeah, you're really not. If you're at the beginning stages, what's actually going to happen is your body's going to freak out and you're going to drop a crap ton of weight. You're going to see your body change like no tomorrow. If anything, the point where it becomes a problem is when you don't recover. And that's usually when you're at an advanced stage of lifting and working out and training. That's when things start to kick in and be a problem. But even then, you can train every day. You can work out every day and do that kind of stuff. You just have to focus more on recovery. You have to focus on the getting enough food into you. You have to focus on rest, sleep, downtime, those kinds of things. You need to give those things an opportunity. You need to look into things like sauna or ice baths or stretching or massage or acupuncture or chiro or those kinds of things to make sure that your body is getting the recovery it needs. But until you get to the advanced level, why are we even talking about that? And even then, as long as you take care of that side of things, you can continue to do that. But it comes back to that statement, as I said, that the magic you are searching for is in the work that you aren't doing. So let's start with actually working. Let's start with actually getting in there every single day and doing the work, focusing on controlling those aspects, building the discipline and the fortitude and the mental toughness to make that a reality. I've said it a million times, that the biggest thing you need to focus on is actually just building the skill of being disciplined. That needs to become your number one focus. And honestly, if you utilize that, if that's your focus on, you're just focusing one day at a time, one day at a time. Did I win today? Yes, no. It becomes really simple. It is a binary question. Did I win today? Yes, no. As long as the answer is yes, you keep moving forward. And that's why we use fitness as that gateway to that, because it's the gateway that does it. And if you just focus on winning every single day, you show up every single day and do the work, you will win. And lo and behold, as a byproduct of focusing on becoming the most disciplined man you can be, by building that discipline muscle, that discipline skill, because it's a skill. It's not something we're born with. It's not something that's innate. It's a skill that we build by doing the work, by focusing on building up that skill set, that you will win the day. And eventually you'll look back and go, oh shit, at some point my physique completely fucking changed. At some point I reached a situation where, I am the man that I was chasing to be. I built the discipline muscle, and by byproduct, I got a great physique. I dropped all this body fat. I started building muscle. I started becoming that man I wanted to be. That's why more often than not, I think you're better off focusing on building discipline and building that skill and that muscle, and then seeing where everything else comes. We call them action goals. If you focus on a day-to-day basis on ticking your action goals, aka going for a weighted walk every single day, doing a weighted workout, eating an animal-based diet, drinking 4 liters of water, and taking a daily photo. If you do those things every single day, those are action goals, your end goal of whatever it might be, building muscle, burning fat, getting fitter, being more athletic, being stronger, whatever the fuck it is, will just happen by nature. But if you're constantly focusing on, do I have a six-pack yet? That's actually really discouraging. It's really confronting, because for a long, long time, the answer is going to be fucking no. For a long time, you're going to look in the mirror and go, no, I don't have a six-pack. Shit. And that'll discourage you. But you have to focus on doing the work. You have to keep showing up and doing the work that often isn't fun, that often isn't enjoyable or desirable, but will build the results that you're looking for. So we keep showing up in that fashion, and we win that day, and then we win that day, and then we win that day. You know, it's the Seinfeld method. How many days in a row can you put an X on the calendar for winning, ticking that box? How many days in a row can you win? Because if you stack enough together, your whole life changes. And not just a little bit, but like a fucking lot. And it often just starts with making that decision. I equate it with being, in AA or, NA or whatever addiction you might have. You have an addiction to the mediocrity of life that you currently have. You have an addiction to the average life you have because it's easy. And you know where you're at. You know where you stand. You know what the outcomes are if you just keep doing what you're doing. So you have to break that addiction. And how do you break an addiction? You take it one day at a time. You can't go that I am going to completely change everything about myself right now, forever and always. No, you have to go, can I win today? Can I be the best version of myself right here, right now, in this singular moment for today? Yes, I can. And then the next moment, yes, I can. Making change and becoming the greatest version of yourself and pushing forward doesn't actually come from the massive moments. In the same way that ending up in a place that you don't want to be, and living an average life and coasting through and just being comfortable and settling for things that you don't want doesn't come from one massive decision. It comes from 1,000 tiny little decisions stacked on top of each other. That's why we have to just make a decision, a commitment, and cut off all other options and just repeat for that day that I am going to win this day. and you get to the end of it. Did you fucking win it? Yes or no? There is no grey zone. There is no other thing. There is, did I win today? Yes or no? Cool, I did. Big tick, win. Start stacking wins. And you stack enough wins together and your whole life will change. And I cannot make it any simpler than that. I cannot make it any more straightforward than that. And this is the thing, that you want to talk about magic. As I said, it's in the work that you're not doing. But everyone wants to look for a magic pill or a magic potion or a quick fix or, hey, I did this once and now everything's different. No. It's just doing the basics and the boring things over and over and over again for a really, really long period of time. And you'll wake up one day and go, fuck, I did it. I made it. I became that man. The man I always wanted to be. The man I always dreamt of being. I became that man because I just kept showing up. I just kept doing the work. Day in and day out. I gave effort and consistency. I gave hands and motherfucking daylight for a really, really long period of time. And that's all it really takes. But the problem is that isn't sexy. You know, that isn't exciting. That isn't, you know, something that's really something that you can put on a pill bottle or a billboard or anything like that. You know, nobody wants to talk about that's what it took, but that's the answer. You know, when someone asks you how you changed your life, oh, you look fantastic. What'd you do? Consistently showed up and worked out, ate good food, ate a healthy diet, which shouldn't even be a diet. It should just be I ate healthy consistently for a long period of time. Lo and behold, suddenly I got in great shape. You know, it's one of the reasons why I choose the animal-based diet. Look, I think it has other benefits. I think it produces much greater results, but it also reduces a lot of the thought process as well. It's the same concept as doing it every single day. Most of the time, people fall off the wagon when there is thought process involved. So you want to build a system that removes as much overthinking as humanly possible. So it's not whether I'm going to work out today or not. I'm just working out today because that's what I do every single day. It's not whether I'm doing a weighted walk today or not. That's just what happens because that's what I do every single day. The same with, you know, an animal-based diet. If you start giving too many options on that, and you know, oh, I could do if it fits my macros, or I could do calorie counting, or I could do all these kinds of things, and suddenly you can make choices that will lower your willpower and lower your thought process because you get decision fatigue. Suddenly you are more likely to fuck it up because, well, you know, especially late at night, suddenly like you could technically fit some ice cream on there or a chocolate bar or something like that because, you know, you could squeeze your macros around it. Suddenly you're more likely to do that. And once you give into a dopamine hit like that, then your body craves more, and the body craves more, and the body craves more. And suddenly you're in this cycle, and you have to exert even more willpower on yourself not to do that. You know, I had this argument with a dietitian once, and they were like, oh, the person can have a mini Mars bar twice a day. And I was like, they're a binge eater. They have impulse control problems. There is zero fucking chance that they're just going to eat a mini Mars bar, or they're going to eat one snake out of a lolly bag, or, you know, 8 chips, which were all options that they'd presented to it. I'm like, the second they have one, or they have a bad day and they know that they can have a little bit, they're going to have fucking all of it. So I believe that you should remove that as an option and just be like, oh, well, I can have meat, eggs, fruit, and sweet potato. Suddenly becomes really simple. The choices become really easy. And look, I still have those days where my willpower is lower and I crave something to feel that dopamine hit, to crave that sugary hit. So what do? I eat fucking frozen berries and honey. And look, to be honest, I eat way, way more than I should of that. And it's something that I'm working on controlling. But it doesn't completely fuck me up. It doesn't completely derail me. I don't then wake up the next day and be like, fucking fruit, I need berries and shit. No, I just go, okay, cool, that was great. You know, I might have some more fruit today. But it's a much simpler option when you cut out the thought process, so you don't get decision fatigue, that you don't fry yourself on having to make decisions like that. You're just like, this is what I can have, end of story. It makes it really simple. Yeah, you'll have to exert willpower sometimes on other things, but I find when you reduce the amount of decisions you have to make each day, it makes it simple, and you build momentum in that factor. You know, the points where you're going to have to initiate willpower is when you feel deprived, but part of that is also shifting the paradigm around that. You aren't depriving yourself of things like that. You need to shift that thinking and go, I am rewarding my body with the things that are going to fuel it. Sugar, junk food, alcohol, all those kinds of things that we know are bad for us. We know. We all fucking know. Let's not pretend that it's some hidden secret that these things are bad for us and that we shouldn't eat them. No, we fucking know. So we don't punish our body by giving it stuff that makes it feel shit. We reward it with food that is going to fuel it, that makes it feel amazing, that makes it function at its highest level. We make it really simple and we remove the overcomplication of all these decisions that need to be made. And we just go, does this fall under the list? Yes, no. If the answer is no, don't fucking eat it. Don't even consider it. Don't make it an option that you then have to deny through willpower or decide that it's not worth it today. It's just not an option. End of story. And there will be an adjustment period once you get there. But once you break through that cycle, it becomes really simple and you get used to it. And now results are rolling in. And now the magic is happening because you did the work that you were avoiding. And now you're getting the results that you wanted, that you always dreamt of, because you're doing the work that is required. It's the one I always come back to. This is really, really fucking simple. It's not easy, but it's fucking simple. I've literally just laid out all of it, and I have many times, to completely transform your life. The question is whether you are going to take up that advice or not. So, are you ready for that? Now, if you need more guidance, if you need assistance, if you need someone to walk you through the process and hold you accountable, because don't get me wrong, 99% of my job is holding people accountable to the word that they gave, to the standards they set. So if you're ready for that and you want to be held accountable and achieve fucking amazing results and become the most disciplined man that you know you can be, shoot me a message. Let's get you into chasing greatness. Let's start that process. Now, if you're not quite there yet, click the link in my bio, grab my top 10 tools to transform your mental toughness. And lastly, if this resonated with you, if it spoke to you, if it inspired you, or if you know someone else who needs to hear this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share it. But most importantly, subscribe. That's how I know, the algorithm knows, that this is something of value, that you are taking value of this. And the majority of people who are watching this are not subscribed. So please hit that, so that you never miss an episode, because I'm here every single day. I'm sharing from the experiences that I'm going through, because I learned these lessons the hard way, and I want to help you avoid those mistakes and pitfalls that I went through. But that's all I have for you, and I'll be back again tomorrow with more. Until then.